Steve Bracks, thank you so much for your time. Let me start by your general reaction to what you saw on Sunday. Were you shocked by those reports of branch stacking?
Yes, I was. In fact, I wasn't even watching 60 Minutes, and someone rang me and said it was on, and so I watched it. And when this extended show, yeah, I was shocked. I didn't envisage that that sort of thing could happen or would have happened. And so it was amazing, the scale and size of the operation, and something which required significantly for change to happen.
Now, you're going to be administrating the Victorian branch with Jenny Macklin and undertaking a review, entirely appropriate appointments from two respected elders of the Labor Party. What do you see as the key to this process? Obviously, it's very early stage, but what do you want to see as the key outcome here?
Yeah, well, Jenny Macklin and I will undertake this review without fear or favour, and really to ensure that we have the best possible Labor Party branch in Victoria going forward. The last time that there was a significant review, if you like, intervention into the Victorian branch of the Labor Party was actually 50 years ago in 1970. So 50 years on, we can see that the legacy of that review had greater participation, greater power sharing, greater opportunity for people to be involved in the party, and we want to make sure the same thing happens again in this review. So the veracity of the branch membership, we want to make sure that that is appropriately audited and examined, and that will be an early task to make sure that there is ongoing audit of that branch membership going forward, to look at how we can make sure that the party members are involved in every part of the party, whether that's policy, administration, the selection of candidates, a real say in a real democratic party, and that's what we want to see going forward, and to make sure we have rules which would prevent what we saw happening on 60 Minutes never happen again.
Why is it important as part of this review, do you think, and the process in the interim, to have a centralised pre-selection process for both the state and federal elections over the next couple of years?
Yes, well, the federal executive of the Australian Labor Party have decided that they will take over the pre-selection processes in the meantime till 2023, and that's because the veracity of the branch membership list needs to be examined to ensure that we have a genuine list, and that's important, and that's something that we will undertake fairly soon. We're due to report fully in November, but an interim scoping report in July, and we'll make sure we turn our attention to that particular matter. And until there is certainty and security over that matter, it's sensible that be taken up by the federal party in the interim.
Why has the party in Victoria been able to have a lot of success in a political sense, both in the Victorian government through yourself over many years and Premier Andrews as well, but also in a federal level, punching above its weight in terms of its representation here? But it seems that's representation, it's done very well, but underneath that there's been quite a bit of dysfunctional internal politics. Why is that?
Well, as it turns out, there has been, and if we had have known this was happening earlier, action would have taken earlier. I guess the answer to that question is you can see how strong Daniel Andrews was in making sure that he took action quickly. He removed a minister. He made sure that there was appropriate intervention through calling for federal intervention in the party and appropriate oversight in the review going forward. And I guess it's because of that leadership in the past that we've had, and we saw it writ large in what Daniel Andrews has just done. It's because of that we've been so successful, and so successful, if you like, over the last 30 years. Since 1982, I think we've won more than 70% of all the state elections here in Victoria, and most of the federal seats, a majority, have been returned for Labor. It's because we've had good parliamentary representation, good effective campaigns, good policy. But if there is a problem with the organisation, and that's what it transpires that there is, well then, we're the first to say, let's get on top of this and fix it, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
What do you say to the critics who might suggest it's not realistic that the leadership of the parliamentary party wouldn't have been aware of some of the shenanigans that were going on?
Well, I can tell you as a parliamentary leader, as I was, of the Labor Party and the Premier of the state, that you just expect that the organisation is going to run well and according to the rules. You're not responsible in oversighting that on a day-to-day basis, and so it's not surprising from my point of view that this came as a surprise and shock to the Premier. It would have been to me if I was the Premier as well, because you just expect that the rules will be applied, and here they haven't been, and we've got to get behind and find why this happened, how we can fix it, and make sure that we never have this happening again.
And do you think that this can be potentially, given it's obviously a very difficult time for the Victorian branch of the ALP, but do you feel that it can be the catalyst for a successful period and one which engages better with the community? Obviously, that must be one of your goals here.
Oh, totally. I think it can be an opportunity to have even more success by opening up the party, getting more members involved, have more members having a real say in policy, in the administration of the party, in the selection of candidates, a real say. And we could do so much better in Victoria if we had that structure in place for enabling that to happen. And I think this is a great opportunity to do that in the future, which will ensure that we have a vibrant, open, successful Labor Party branch.
And finally, Mr. Bracks, were you surprised at the covert nature of the sting against Adam Somyurek? It seemed, you know, very unusual in terms of the way this individual was caught out in the end.
Yes, look, I don't know how that happened. I have no knowledge at all on how that could have been done, but nevertheless, that's not my task. The task I've got as administrator, the task Jenny Macklin has, is to take it from here and make sure we get behind what happened, how it happened, and to make sure it never happened again. And that's really what we'll be doing as part of this without fear or favour review that we're undertaking.
Well, as I said to respected elders of the Labor Party and you and Jenny Macklin, I wish you well in your endeavours. Thanks for your time, Mr. Bracks.
Thank you, Kieran. I appreciate it.